You're great. No, you're great. No, you're great. Yep, that's right. It's me again, Mike Coletta, doing the show because we got a Hugflection this week because it's kind of busy. So, today's episode is a really fun one. It is episode 244, The Night Snorkeler, with our buddy, Drew Barth. Very funny comedian, Seattle, love him so much. Monica this week is going to be at the Chalet Theater in Enumclaw, Washington. That's a show. Yeah, it's a live show. So check that out. If you feel safe going to it, go to it. February 19th, Enumclaw, Washington, Chalet Theater. Monica will be there. Other things you could do. Tell your friends about us. You could do that. You could go check out our Instagram at Hug Life Podcast on Instagram. Check out Danny Dodge's art, studiododge.com. at Studio Dodge on Instagram. Go to our huglifepodcast.com or monicanevi.com. Click on the Amazon banner, do that all the jazz. And then finally, you could subscribe to our Patreon for $1, get all of our back episodes, and eventually I will do Zumba for you. I can't do it this week because, the snow. It's crazy right now. Well, when I'm recording this, it's crazy right now. Later, it's not going to be as crazy. When you're listening to this, you're like, what snow are you talking about? It's not even there. But yeah, so enjoy this episode 244 with Drew Barth titled The Night Snorkeler.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're
Hey,
great.
Derek.
Are we going to have nicknames for each other each episode?
You're
I think
great.
we should.
You're great.
I'm Underboob. That's the original. That's the OG. So you're Nev Nips, I'm
great.
Underboob.
Oh wait, let's not give away the studio production value we have here.
It's pretty low.
You're probably going to sing anyway, so you might as well just use
That's
that
a
part,
good point. I'm
Check, check, check. Butts, butts, butts. Check, check. Sound,
I
check.
hope that thing goes limp right near your
Check.
face.
It's
Mhm.
already limp. I made sure I raised it up.
It's not going to get any more erect.
Oh, you're great.
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 You are great.
You know who else is great?
Who's great?
Drew Barth is great.
Drew Barth is great. You're great, Drew.
I think you're great as well, Mike. I
Well,
think you're
thank
great as
you.
well, Monica. I think you're all fantastic.
Wow.
Wow,
you're
Drew is
on
just
it.
a natural at the show right
He
now.
knows how we like it, you know?
His first pitch of the game, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, if positivity is going to be an issue, then I'm really not your person.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard not to be just glass half full forever.
I
That's what
love
this
it.
whole
Well,
podcast is about.
It is. So it was an easy, I was like, oh, yeah, we should have Drew on. You're like, duh.
Doy.
Of course we should. Well, welcome to the Hug Life Podcast. I am Limp Mike Coletta. Can we do it that
And
way?
I am erectilely functional Nevi.
Big old boners over here. Normally they're middle names, but we really mixed
we
it up
really
that
we
one.
went the first name that time, and I feel confused, but I'm fine with it.
All right, okay. And we have our great guest this week. Drew Barth is here.
Thanks
We
for
don't do
having me.
nicknames for the guests.
No,
unless
that's
you
fine.
want one.
That would be inappropriate,
Oh,
wouldn't it?
Drew, no nickname. Barth.
Ooh,
There we go.
I
man.
saved it. I
Glass
almost
half
said something
full
about boners.
Barth.
Pulling me right back to elementary school.
All right, you want to plug things?
I'm in Hawaii right now. I'm not even here right now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm in Denver.
You're in Denver right now?
Yeah.
It's
but I
so weird
will,
that we're here.
if you have Wednesday in Denver, I will be doing a show somewhere.
It's weird. It feels like you're here.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a spiritual experience.
Oh, I
We
get it.
astrally projected ourselves over here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do want to mention that the next week, which would be the May 30th,
Yeah, that week.
31st, and June 1st, I will be in Bloomington, Indiana at the Limestone Comedy Festival.
Ooh, you're mining some limestone.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is that
What
probably
we're
the
doing?
most, is that the most sedimentary of the
Festivals.
festivals you've been doing? I have a lot of
That I've
rock
been doing,
knowledge.
yes.
So
Really?
yeah.
Why?
Let's get into it.
I had a big rock collection as a kid.
Okay.
I went to a lot of rock shows.
Were any of them crack
This rock
rocks?
shows?
Yeah, I went to rock shows before.
But not rock shows, like rock shows.
No, I went to the original rock shows. They were like millions of years older and
Like-
much cooler.
Like gems
And
and stuff?
Gems, minerals.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. I've seen advertisements for shows like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, whoever you would imagine attending those, that's exactly who goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was imagining
Whatever
you.
you-
So
Bunch
that's
of, bunch of stone cold foxes attending those
Precisely.
rock shows.
Yes.
Have you-
Sedimentary Stone Cold.
Did
Yeah.
that ever come up when you were dating or even maybe courting your wife, were you like, hey, do you want to go to this rock show with me? And they were like ready to see a concert, and then it was like,
And then you show up in
Stones.
short khaki shorts and one of those brimmed hats. You're like with a little hammer.
You know,
a
I
fanny pack so you can put the ones you like. In.
Oh man, you know, I've left my rock hounding days behind me.
Oh, I see,
think
okay.
it's a young man's game.
I like how you call it
It's a
rock
young man's
hounding.
game.
Yeah,
Is that the name of it?
It's
I
not built
believe
for it
so.
anymore.
I actually would really. Here's the thing. I would still really love to go rock hounding somewhere. Like I'd love to go somewhere. There are different parts of the country that have like a really great,
rock hounding.
focusation of like barrel and topaz, like the things where you can just pay like $20. You go in there for an hour with a pickaxe and just like you kind of keep whatever you find. I would do that because I'm also just inherently lucky, and I feel like I would find something.
Oh wow!
Ah.
You know what I
I
love?
didn't know that was a thing.
The positivity and the confidence of your rock hounding.
Oh, well, thank
Right.
you.
You're
Yeah,
like,
I'm
Appreciate
into
Like,
it.
this
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, I paid my dues, and I mean, whatever.
You're rock hounding, dude?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I paid for.
You're
it
in the
with
rock hounding
lack-
trenches.
Yes, it's a lonely place to
Literally.
be. There's not a lot of friendship in the rock hounding trenches. You're a lot of digging for one.
One day I want to dig a trench for two.
Someday, oh, that'd be
I'd love
nice.
to share my trench with. That sounds dirtier than when I
does
say
sound
it. But
dirty,
yeah,
yeah,
that
it
sounds.
does.
Yeah,
Never mind.
share my trench.
You want to bring your pickaxe to my trench over here?
Wow, it sounds like a lot of dirty World War I humor.
You want to sift
That
through
is
my
my
trench?
favorite genre.
Exactly. We get all up in that foxhole.
Oh yes, okay. Do you have any shows coming up? You want? To plug?
I'm going to be going to Pasco with Brad Upton and Corey Michaelis, and we're going to be doing a show for, I think it's, I want to say it's boating. I want to say it's like a yearly boating
a
type of thing.
boatsman.
It could
Oh,
be.
is it? Don't they have like a race or a festival or something there?
There's something that happens.
Okay, is it during that time?
And I will be there.
Don't they call it Boat Week? Isn't that just what it's called?
I
Or
don't know.
Race
be.
Week?
I mean that. Oh, maybe it's race.
You know what? I could be entirely
it's
wrong.
boat race
Maybe
week.
it's an entire.
It
It
might
could be
be.
a festival about caramel, and I'm entirely wrong.
No, well,
it
So-
could be a combination of your two fascinations, rocks and boats, is in rock bottom boat festivals.
And if there's one thing that I know the boats love, rocks.
It's true.
That is true.
There you go.
They are always
Boat
seeking
around.
them out.
when is that?
That'll be May 31st.
Okay.
And then also I'm going to be headlining Laughs at some point this summer as well.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Do
So-
you have, maybe what's your social media or something where people can?
Yeah, just at Drew Barth would probably be the
There
best
you
place to
go.
find me.
Drew Barth. Easy. Well, there, yeah. And you see where he's at. Perfect.
Everyone look at Drew.
Yes, right now.
Yeah.
We're
It
looking
is.
at him.
There's a lot of eye contact that happens during this. Other plugs. Nope.
Nope, I'm in Hawaii. I don't even care about plugs at this point. 'cause
Okay.
I'm
Well, I
just
was
even
thinking
care-
more like,
I
you
am
could go to our
probably-
websites and check out the Amazon banner.
I'm probably on a beach, totally naked,
Oh God.
covered in spam musubi, just sitting there. Seagulls are trying to eat it off, but I won't let them.
No.
This is real positivity over here because I can't even go along with this. And Drew's like, oh, yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, see?
Good God.
Drew is the yes and
Don't-
I've been looking for on this podcast the whole time.
This is true. I will always give you whatever you need.
Thank
Like,
you,
no,
Drew.
My
but
pleasure.
Stop talking about it.
But I'll also be on that beach naked with spam musubi on my body, looking at my website and Twitter. Huh?
Nice.
I tried to link it together.
And then what can you do on your website? How about that?
Oh, if you go there and you click on that banner at the top that says Amazon.com and shop as you normally would, you can get yourself something nice and we get a little kickback for it.
Nice.
Maybe get yourself some spam on Amazon and make your own.
You could do that, yeah.
And seaweed. You could probably buy all the ingredients there and then you could have it delivered to your house and you can make it yourself.
And then put it on their naked bodies.
And then
if
put it on your
they-
naked
yeah.
body in the comfort of your own home.
Or you could spam Muso be naked.
Hey! Ooh, look at that.
That's-
Wordplay.
I'm into it.
All right.
You can also go to Monica's website and do that too, which is monicandavy.com. Or you can go to huglifepodcast.com and do it.
They all have Amazon banners.
It's
How
crazy.
Convenient. You can also go to patreon.com/huglifepodcast. You donate literally $1 and you're going to get to hear this month's episode where Drew is also going to be telling us an embarrassing story like we did last
Embarrassing.
month. I'm excited for it, but you don't get to hear that now.
You're
You got
be
to
so
be
embarrassed.
you got to be in the
Drew.
Patri dish if you're
Yeah, you gotta be
you
patriot.
want to hear that business.
Patriot?
Did you call it
Patriotic.
the
in
Petri
the-
dish?
The Patri dish.
The Petri
Wow.
dish.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
what
that.
We're good at names.
Wow.
Yeah.
How cultural.
Hey, Drew?
Yes.
You're not a dad yet
do
because you
you-
should be.
I know. Seriously, the dad jokes and the puns are just. I feel like I'm flying the missing dad
natural.
formation.
You're missing dad formation?
Exactly. I have no children, but I've got the puns and the jokes ready to go. I have 2 nephews that I'm just going to spoil with just the worst humor ever.
I feel like
And I'm
flying
looking
in
forward
Spoil
dad
them
formation is you're all just in a line, but you're all wearing socks and sandals. It's dad formation.
This is a form of a giant grill.
Yeah. Just pushing a barbecue grill in front of you.
That's nice.
You know what else you can do? Drew, this is what I was going to ask you. Do you like art? Are you an art fan?
I do like art, yes.
You we have a friend. Her name's Danny Dodge, and she does amazing art. She actually did our logo for us.
Really?
And she has 2 websites, studiododge.com, and then on Instagram you can go to @studiododge and look at all her
You
pictures.
keep calling
Sweet.
Instagram a website, but yeah.
I like calling Instagram a website because it is. It's an app and a website.
It is.
I,
You're
you know
right.
what, I
You
honestly,
can see it on the
I
web.
have that same problem. I have a bone of contention when people refer to Twitter as like, get off this website. I'm like, feels like it's just kind of shortchanging kind of all the Twitter has turned into.
Oh,
It's just-
yeah?
Yeah.
This is website that everyone argues about vaccinations
I
on.
think the problem with you saying she has 2 websites is that it makes it sound like Instagram is her website, not her Instagram.
'cause
it's
she's
just
Danny
her
Dodge.
website.
She's the
started
owner of
Instagram?
Instagram.
She's
yeah.
on
Wow.
Instagram.
But she chose Studio Dodge as her handle.
She doesn't want to
Weird.
brag or anything.
She's
so
like
she's
Tom
like,
on
I just,
MySpace if she didn't friend everyone that started it.
Yeah, I thought that was a little needy of Tom at first.
Tom was so lonely.
Came on a
Yeah,
little
That was a
strong.
big cry
well, then
for
he
help.
put himself as your top 8
Yeah.
immediately.
Total cry for help.
And then if you didn't change it, he was like, yeah, we're best friends.
Right? And then if I grab somebody's phone and add my phone number, I'm weird.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You put my picture as their background screen.
If I just airdrop a bunch of people that I don't know pictures of me naked covered in spam musubi, I'm the weirdo.
Did you hear that was a problem in New York? Is that they were trying to deal with people who were just unsolicited sending dirty pictures to people like on subways when they're in public
Just
areas, just to
airdropping
airdrop
stuff?
it, just because you see the preview and like, do you want this? No, I don't want this, but
No.
it's too late.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
They should do that thing where it blurs it like Instagram does.
right.
When they DM you a picture, it's
think they
like,
do
do
that
you
in
want to see this? And you're like, well, yes, let me click just in case.
I think in Japan it's always blurred. Yes, naturally.
Yeah, no one has genitals in Japan. It's just blurred out.
Right?
Is there a musubi in front of it?
Censored by musubi.
That's why
Once
that movie
again.
Pixels did so well in Japan.
It was a big hit there.
Everybody real
Very
turned
false
on.
advertising.
Everyone's like, damn.
Yep.
I think that's all the plugs, right?
That is all the plugs.
We got to do something now called lexically embracing stuff. Lexical embraces.
I'm gonna say I can't really think of anything, so this might be you.
This might be me?
Yeah, for the first time ever. I can't.
You don't have any lexical embraces?
Not in advance. I may think of one. You just go.
Okay. I would like...
Basically a shout out. We used to call them oral hugs. People didn't like that. So.
Marvelous.
I have a kind of a weird one. It's very specific. It's like when you wake up in your room in the morning and it's the perfect temperature.
Oh,
That's
That
nice.
a
really
good one.
gets me going.
That
yeah.
is
Do you
good.
feel like you're ready to take on the day? At
I
that
do. If
point,
I
or-
wake up and it's like really cool in my room, I'm like, ooh, it feels really... And it's fresh air. I like having my window open when I sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Do you do the snorkel where you just put one leg out
Yes.
oh,
to
yeah.
kind of regulate your temperature
Oh,
and then
yeah.
kind of slide up
Sure,
and
I've never
down?
heard it called-
I've never
I've
heard it
snorkel.
called the snorkel,
That's
but I
so
really like
applicable.
Yeah, I like
yeah.
that too.
Dude, the
But
art
I
of the
do.
snorkel.
I always
Right?
at least got a foot out.
Yeah.
Maybe not a whole leg, but definitely a foot.
I like to... I think I wake up really early, and then I readjust to the snorkel, and then I go back to sleep.
Because you're too hot.
Yeah, the snorkel is not something I fall asleep to.
No.
It's something that adapts in the middle of the night.
Your body has a mind of its own while it's sleeping
Oh, yeah.
and will perfectly regulate your
I'm
temperature.
just out here free snorkeling. I have no idea. Freestyle snorkeler, Mike
Freestyle,
Coletta. That's what people call me.
Just the night snorkeler.
I am the night
Wow.
snorkeler. The worst serial killer ever. He breaks
just-
into your house and takes your leg and puts it out from underneath the covers
That's
and then
it.
walks away. The night snorkeler appeared.
I thought that he would put a snorkel on you and put you in a bathtub and then hold you underwater and just plug up the snorkel with his thumb.
Oh, that's a terrifying
It's
way to
more
go.
aggressive.
It's a way to
fun,
go.
and
That's
scary.
also a lot of steps.
Couldn't you just...
There's a lot of steps. He's very dedicated.
I've never
and-
actually
I
killed
like
someone.
the idea of him wanting to kill you, but instead of just drowning you, he gave you the snorkel, but then covered it up.
Yeah, that's coming it up. Also, in theory, here, in this whole time he puts you in the water, you don't wake up. You're sort of breathing
'cause
normally.
he's the night snorkeler.
The night snorkeler is terrifying. Definitely a villain.
It's the next. Yeah, this is the next popular I hate being able to say that, but popular serial killer is going to be the Night Snorkeler.
Night Snorkeler?
Yeah.
Where's
can't
that
wait.
creepy ambient ad? Don't get too comfortable. Or the Night Snorkeler's coming.
I can't wait for our 3-part Netflix series on the Night Snorkeler we do after
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Drew, you're going to be a part of it too.
I'm excited about it.
Ooh,
He knows all the info.
That's true. Like, he just was a lonely man who loved rocks.
Yeah. Like, he met him once, rock hounding.
No one would sift in his trench.
Except for Mariana.
Oh, that's a good name.
Mariana's a great name to pull out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, she has a trench.
Hey, we're doing it now.
Yeah.
What's weird is you said that joke and I just started wearing cargo shorts. They just appeared out of nowhere. They just came on my body. Oh man, I should have said the different words.
Wow. It's a really bizarre look at how an old Navy came together.
Yeah. That is a. Yeah, the old cargo shorts over there came on my body. You know, it just sounds like you slept with an old man.
Mm.
Oh, it's good. I like the not the Night Snorkeler, but I
the
do like
waking
the
up
snorkel.
cold?
Yeah.
I just
No, I don't like waking up cold, but if it's a perfect temperature where I feel comfortable getting out of bed, that's great. Because if it's too cold, I'll stay in there.
That's not bad though. You can stay in bed.
Well,
Cell phones have changed
I do
the waking
stay-
up game too.
that's true. I do what I call bed work for at least an hour every morning because I can respond to emails on my phone, and I just do that in my bed.
Do you find you're able to
I'm
compose
still
yourself
working.
as well?
Yeah.
In that kind of post-sleep sort of thing? Like, do you put like a delay? Like, do you put a fuse on it where it's like, I'm going to hit send, but 15 minutes from now, it'll be like, sure you still want to do this one?
Yeah, should have said that. Well, I actually wake up and I write for a little bit first.
Oh, you do?
But also in bed. And then I get to the phone. So hopefully it's a little bit more. However, I notice when I text in the morning that it is not making a whole lot of sense. Or it's just, or it makes sense, but there's less of a filter, I think, at that time. So I'll just say whatever I want. And people are like, what is wrong with you?
What kind of writing do you do in the morning? Do you do like morning pages?
I do 2 morning pages, and then I do like an affirmation exercise, and then I do like goals, like just intentions for the day, like what I'm going to get done that day.
That's cool. Are you familiar with morning pages?
I know what those are.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never done.
Do you do them?
No, but I did read 7 pages in that book.
Okay.
And
In the morning.
Were
Yeah.
they
You read the 7 pages
were they
in the morning.
in that 7 pages? Were the morning pages in that 7 pages?
yeah, I
Okay.
was like, you know what? I'm 7 pages into this. There's no way I'm going to write better than this. So why don't we
Right.
just go with whatever?
This seems like the most
What
important
book
part of
is
the
it?
book.
The Artist's Way.
Oh, I should just order this book on Amazon. I've heard about it for so.
No, I don't know where mine is.
It's right next to Subway.
I was really hoping Drew would be like, "What do you write in the morning?" Like, "Oh, I have a blog for anti-vaxxing. I usually write a couple articles out in the morning, just like something crazy that
Just
we
crank
didn't
them
know
out. I
about."
like to do them right in the morning. Then you get it done.
What
you
is
know.
your morning work? Oh, I have a flat Earth Tumblr I keep up.
I have a lot of
something nuts.
I have a lot of vaguely sexist Pinterest posts that I like to put up in the morning.
Yeah, you got to get them out there.
Just
Who
enough
else?
so people that know will get it, but people that don't were like, "Did he mean that?"
I like to put women's suffrage into a nice mason jar and fill it with sand if I can.
And that's
Make
my
sure they
Etsy store.
still are at the bottom there.
That's it.
You're allowed to vote, but you got to get there first.
What do you do it right in the morning? Oh, I have erotic Waterworld fan fiction on a website. I just put that up there for me.
That sounds
nice.
like something you would, like you're already checking.
I was a big fan of the movie Waterworld.
Were you?
Were there a lot of lines in it like, hey, check out my atoll?
Your boat plunged into my atoll.
Man, dry land has a totally different meaning.
Yeah. Every time we have sex, that's why I find dry land. Kevin Costner.
I have a birthmark on my.
Maybe that's what it was. It's just a whole innuendo. Anyway.
I do
Oh,
have a birthmark on my ass that's about the size of a avocado or so. It just kind of looks like a cloud sort of thing. But my
I thought that was going to be the end of it.
Oh,
I was
no,
like,
that's
okay.
true.
Just gonna share.
It's,
Yeah.
But I've sort of used it as kind of like a Rorschach test. Like whoever, like I never tell anybody what it is. I'm like, what do you think you see when you look at it?
Are people
My-
just looking at your ass all the time?
Usually, yeah.
Has anyone ever been like a cute butt and then high fived you?
No, that's a good one.
My brother did used to call it though my map to dry land.
That's a fun brother
That
right
is
there.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
What does your wife think it is?
A cloud.
A cloud.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's not really.
Not really. I
doesn't
mean,
look
it's
like anything.
it's a fairly amorphous kind of blob. I actually got really close to getting a tattoo when I was 18, and I was backpacking through Europe with my brother, and I wanted to get a tattoo of a lightning bolt coming out of it. So it just looked like
So
a
it looked
storm
like a
cloud.
cloud, yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember I was actually in this tattoo parlor in Greece with my brother, and I was like, I want to do a tattoo of a lightning bolt coming right here. And the dude looked at my body. He's like, he's no.
He's like, I'm not.
No, he's no. All right. And then that was the end of that.
Well, I
Guess
think we
this
should
guy doesn't want any
reconsider.
business.
I know, seriously. I was like, it's
I
amazing.
think that's funny that he
That's a
was
really
like,
funny
as
idea.
all the horrible tattoos I've seen,
Right?
this guy was like, no, we're not doing
Exactly. If I'm at this weird kind of shady back alley Greek tattoo parlor, and he's like, I don't feel so good about this. I'm like, oh, I don't think anybody should feel good about this.
that.
thing.
Right,
All right.
yeah, no,
Fine by me.
we're not doing it. That's great. That's a fun tattoo. I like, well, obviously, I like tattoos, but I like them when they're dumb.
That sounds more fun.
I don't
It
have
is
any
fun.
tattoos.
You don't have any?
No.
I don't have any either. Do you want to get matching tattoos?
Sure. Absolutely.
Nice. I was thinking about getting a thundercloud tattooed on my butt.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, with a lightning bolt coming
Yes.
out.
You can't do it in Greece,
Absolutely.
though.
Can't do it in Greece.
They won't
though.
let you do it in Greece.
Mm-mm. No, but you can get it done during a production of Grease. They will
Oh
do it.
yeah, obviously.
They do that.
They'll actually do Grease lightning on your
I was
butt.
waiting for it.
It's pretty good.
I have 5 tattoos.
You
so
do?
I do.
Do you love each one more than the last?
No,
Mm.
but I do like them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't have any regrets?
Not at all.
Nice.
And some of them are pretty silly. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I like them. My 2 of them are beer logos. So.
I feel like. Oh, that's right. No, wait. I saw
I
that
got a
one.
bit about it too.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I
Yeah.
love that.
I like them. Well, and then the other ones, some of them are like for me, which
Mm-hmm.
is nice. I mean, that's maybe what your tattoos should be for.
Yeah.
But and then other ones like match with people, and
Mm-hmm.
that's I like all of my tattoos.
My wife has a few tattoos. She's got like a couple on her wrist and arm, but then she also has a large piece on the side of her torso. And the first night that we were kind of fooling around and kind of went to possibly go do a little bit of undressing, she was like, "Let me stop you. What are your thoughts on tattoos?" And I was like, "Cool. I think they're awesome." She was like, "Okay, just so you know, because I
You're
have
like,
kind of a
I'm
large one." I'm like,
gonna
"You are
say
not
whatever's
making it
gonna
less
let me
enjoyable."
take the
Weird.
shirt off.
And yeah, so it's but it's like a bunch of quotes that she really liked from various authors and poets and such, and it's just kind of covers like a good. Yeah, it kind of looks like a like shark bite size around the torso. I don't think
Do you
anybody
think it's
usually.
actually covering a shark bite and you had no idea?
What kind of shark are we talking? Because that
Yeah,
was
like a tiger shark or a blue
Maybe
shark?
Great
small
white.
mako, maybe.
Maybe
Okay.
a mako?
I don't
Maybe
know.
a
I'm going off. My
black
entire
tip?
shark knowledge is mostly limited to fruit snacks. So I know the great whites are elusive. And
It's true.
It's true.
Mhm. I know the thresher's got a big long tail.
Big long tail. Whale shark bite? It's not even really a bite because they eat a bunch of krill.
I
You know what I
know.
mean?
It's true.
Look at these guys out here eating krill being all big.
Nurse shark? No. Okay.
Nurse shark's a shark?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Especially
Just-
strippers.
I don't know how.
Especially stripper sharks that are going to nursing school.
Or like gangsters in West Side Story. They're sharks.
It's true.
A lot of musical theater
There's
jokes.
just a lot
this
of different
episode.
sizes. I'm saying with the shark bite.
That's true.
As a size, you know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to
San
make
Jose
sure.
sharks.
Are you ready for the next?
I think
segment?
I'm ready for the next step. Do you wanna get it going for me real quick?
Yeah. Hey guys, good news.
Hi, welcome to the good news segment. It's me, Mike Coletta. Global investment in coal tumbles by 75% in 3 years as lenders lose appetite for fossil fuel.
Ooh, that's
So
good.
they're
So
still
what else are
making-
they investing in? That's what I want.
It's usually clean energy. is what's happening now.
Yeah, smart.
But what's going on is this is the first time since the Industrial Revolution that there are less coal plants being made each year
Oh,
than
that's.
how many are being shut off.
Ooh,
Like coal is going away, which is exciting.
it's a great story.
I
That's
think
good.
a lot of the coal plants also opening around the world are in countries that are like just now getting good electricity.
I
So
see,
it's
yeah.
like because it's still like an available system. But
Yeah, I think sometimes we lose track and perspective on what just kind of daily life and energy production looks like for us and how relatively efficient it is as opposed to just a lot of parts of the world where it's just burning garbage to cook your food.
Yeah, like literally.
and there's something called a final investment decision, which is then they'd make essentially making a choice saying this is how we're going to do our power plant, and those for coal plants have dropped by 75% in 3 years.
Okay.
So people are
That's
choosing
like a
clean
lot.
energy or hydro.
75% in 3 years is quick.
Yeah,
Which
but
I mean, from a business standpoint, it does seem smarter to invest in cleaner stuff because I just think people in general are going that way, which we should be. But that's still like a big drop.
See, I think they should switch from coal to full and just power everything with baby horses.
That's a good point. And then you can make a lot of glue that way too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they
See? It's a two-step process.
Are we killing the horses or are they like running on treadmills?
Oh, I was just thinking the horses would die eventually.
Just
with some glue.
just while they're young. And
I
then
see.
once they
It's
get
like-
past fullhood and
Then they live
when they
a life
become
somewhere else.
fully grown, I believe that's the term. This is why I didn't go to horse school. It's because they were like,
It was
your
just too many
attitude.
puns. He's
It's
like, you know, that
because-
doesn't actually make sense, right?
Now above my khaki shorts is an unflattering tank top, and I have no idea how that got there either.
It's like a little bit too slow.
Slowly transforming into a dad. So yeah, that's the first
good.
story.
Okay.
You guys like that one?
Yeah,
though?
that was a great
Yeah,
story. I
that was
think
nice.
that's good news.
The next one's kind of goofy. It's kind of a funny, fun story.
Okay.
Nice.
Free beer offer helps track down brewery's stolen van in 42 minutes.
Nice.
I'm going to pretty
Okay,
much
hold
read
on.
this whole story. So there's a brewery that's in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they saw someone steal their van on a CC camera, like a closed circuit television camera, at their brewery. They saw 3 people steal it, and it was in the early hours Monday morning. Then they put out a post on social media that said, "Whoever finds it, Brad will buy you a keg party. If you stole it and bring it back, you will also get a keg party. Smile for the camera," in parentheses. "Please DM us if you see it." And the van, by the way, is purple with neon green.
So it's like
It's
super easy to
very
find.
distinct. Yeah. So what ended up happening is they got about 15 tips like immediately of where it was, and they actually tracked the van down. And so what they did, though, is it said a lot of the tips came in from fans of the brewery who lived in the area and saw the obvious neon van.
The most conspicuous vehicle ever.
Yeah, it was proving it was probably
Maybe they were
not
going
a
to
good
solve a
idea.
mystery. They don't know.
He's going
Scooby-Doo got cool.
What is it? The mystery
has
machine.
booze.
Yeah.
Proving it was probably not a good idea to steal a brightly colored, well-known brewery vehicle, the company said on Facebook. And then, so what they ended up doing is they couldn't give them free beer. So what they did is they brewed a special beer called Van Theft Auto.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And they sold it to the people for 25 cents a pint
Oh, damn.
because that covered the taxes. That's the amount it took to cover the expenses they had in taxes. That's why they couldn't give it away for free. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
The only downside of this story is that by that point they found it, the thieves had already broken into 10 cars.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing all the stuff was recovered if they found it. So, yeah.
But it was only gone for...
Oh, wait, no, before abandoning it. So, yeah, the thieves abandoned it somewhere and people helped find it.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, they got a keg party out of it, so that's good.
Free beer is always good.
That
That's
was a
funny.
fun story.
That is a fun story. It had it had a pun in it.
Can you imagine
Already.
the score type feeling when you're just breaking into cars and then all of a sudden dudes, this car is filled with beer. I think we can quit after this.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to. They'd be drunk. They
Right?
couldn't go get the other ones.
No
It's a
fun
big
getting
schooler.
a DUI in your stolen van. Here.
Officer, I'm pretty sure 2 wrongs do make a right.
He's
That
just
was
got
it.
the keg hose hooked up to the driver's seat. That was great. Are you done?
Ready.
Okay. Hey guys, that was good news.
I always want to talk during that part, and I'm not supposed to because my segment's over.
And then he looks like he's gonna
I'm going to poop.
poop or sneeze or maybe both. We
Both
don't
at
know.
the same time.
Boy,
Do you
don't
guys ever
forget that.
poop? Not poop. Do you guys ever sneeze
You
and
guys
you
ever
fart,
pooped?
you fart a little bit at the same time?
Yeah, that's
I
one of the
think
joys.
that's pretty normal.
One of the
Yeah.
few joys in life.
That's one of the joys that I've particularly noticed creeping up as I've gotten older. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I usually have to try for this. Now I have to try not to do this.
Can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
How old are you?
36.
Okay, I'm 31.
Mm-hmm.
The minute I turned 30,
Mm-hmm.
I started peeing at urinals for the first time. No, I started peeing, and then when I would stop, I have to wait now.
Oh.
It's not done.
Right?
It still drips a little bit.
It's
Yep.
lying to you.
I will
Oh,
say,
totally.
I have noticed that about myself recently.
Oh, so this is a both team kind of thing.
Yeah.
This
so
is like
like
a 30 thing.
I think it
You're
just still
close.
drips. So like, it's a normal thing for women. Sometimes you got to see if like a little bit got on the seat when you were getting up. That just happens so much more often to me now. Like it's like not all the way done or something, or like just maybe
I try to do
got a loose pee hole. Is that what's
Yeah.
happening? Like it's like coming out. And it's just like, still like that's
I try to
concerning.
do a joke about it,
Is
and
that-
it
is
would
your
hit
pee hole loose?
sometimes, and then sometimes people would look at me like, this is too real. I'm like, oh, God, okay.
Sometimes they would just glance off the side.
Just be like,
I think these are the things people need to be talking about because then when it happens, you don't freak out. You're
Yeah,
like, this is
right?
well, yeah, it's like women who have had an episiotomy, which is when they cut in between when you have a baby. It's almost like 100% of the time after 30 years, you start like kind of losing control of your bowels. And it's a normal thing though. Like
Wow.
and nobody tells you that though. And when
Really?
it happens even, like they'll go to the doctor when they're, 60 or 70 and they're like, yeah, this happens. But nobody tells you
you
that.
just start
Whoa.
pooping.
Yeah, well, you don't. It's just harder to like keep it in, basically. Like if you need to go, you have to go then because you.
You go now.
Yeah.
My wife told me that there also used to be a thing after episiotomies of actually sewing tighter.
Yes.
Called the husband stitch.
Oh God.
I mean, just
That hurts my heart that it would be
Right?
called that.
Right.
But I have also heard that. I don't know.
We're going to call it Little Dick Husband Stitch. But they drop the little dick
little
part.
dick stitch.
Little
You
dick,
guys
little dick stitch.
it that? Well,
Well, you asked for it.
you asked for
Greg.
it. We're trying to be descriptive.
Yeah, he's back there just like maybe add one more. I don't know.
Maybe just call it Greg's move.
Great.
Greg's move.
Yeah, I have heard that also.
it's pretty
but yeah,
disturbing.
there's stuff like in pregnancy, I'm sure is more so than maybe just regular aging stuff. But they really keep a lot of secrets during that time. Like
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, it's this beautiful thing. You're gonna love being pregnant. Blah blah blah. And then like I had like teammates in college that got pregnant, and she was like, no, I threw up and peed on myself this morning. Don't get pregnant. Don't do it. Like she was like very. And then my aunt had a baby, and she was like, they don't tell you about the right after part. I'm sitting on a diaper right now. Like it's just stuff's just coming out of me, and I was like, oh my God. And she's like, I think people should be told this stuff, like. So then you don't freak out either.
Right.
Like if stuff is happening, you want to know.
I feel like a lot of just the stigma is based around just ignorance in general.
Yeah.
Like if you had somebody at least come up to you and be like, by the way, it's magical. It's gonna be a life-changing kind of event. There are a whole bunch of human body
Right, stuff's gonna
components
happen
that
to
go
your
with it
body.
as well. I feel like that would help for some people. Now, I wouldn't. My wife and I don't necessarily have plans on having kids at this moment, but those sorts of stories, every time my wife hears them, it doesn't get her more inclined to want
Yeah,
to have
she's
children.
like, yeah, let's go for that
She's
one.
like, no, I'm pretty sure that my initial plan was correct.
And I get that. Well, and I think, I don't know if that for most women would be the reason they didn't have children. They'd be like, oh,
Right.
well, I'm not going to be able to pee normal. Like I think you're aware some changes are going to happen. But I still think as far as knowing what's going on and feeling like I don't need to freak out about it. Or, if your dad was like, hey, yeah, your dick's going to start leaking probably around 40. And that's okay. That's okay. You wouldn't be like, it's broken. Like you should
What did
just
I do?
talk
Why did
about
I
it.
break
Yeah,
it?
it's not-
How did I break it?
We could go down to Lowe's Hardware or get something for the pipe.
Right.
Got
Like, what's
some
all this
caulk for my
electrical?
caulk.
What's all this electrical tape in your bathroom for? You're like, my dick's leaking.
Dick leaks sometimes.
Dick leak.
Had to get a bunch of plumbing stuff for my wiener.
Yeah.
Was the joke dead already?
Yeah, I don't know.
And
No,
killed
no,
it?
it was just I'm just imagining very large tubes.
And hopefully no liquid plumber.
Yeah. Ooh,
I got the
ooh.
husband's PVC pipe.
It's got the wife's PVC pipe you put on the outside. All right. Are we ready to positive spin?
I am ready to pee spin.
Okay. So our positive spin topic this episode is getting laid off or losing a job. Like, why would that be a good
Why would
thing?
it be good to lose a job?
I'm trying to think of. I've gotten laid off once, is what we called it, but I was working at a deli in Belltown, and they decided they didn't need somebody on the weekends anymore. I was in college at the time, so I kind of needed the money, but then I didn't have to get up on the weekend.
That's kind of
Have
nice,
you
though.
been-
So there's the positive spin right there. You can sleep in.
That's true. That's a good start. Have you been like laid off?
I've never
or-
been laid off. I've always left jobs, usually.
You've never been fired or
You've never
anything.
been dumped.
Never been dumped by a job.
Always the
Never been
dumpy.
dumped by a boss. Always the dumpy, never the dump.
You were the dumpster.
Never the
Never
dump.
the dumpy. Always the dumpy, never the dumpster.
By the way, I think that would be a really good nickname for somebody who just something about them had to do with dump to just call them the dumpster.
The dumpster.
I realized it would be the
They're
dumpster.
like, oh, you guys
not the
broke up?
dumpster.
Yeah, I'm the dumpster.
I'm the dumpster. I'll be out back in the alley.
Here's Hank in the dumpster in the morning.
It's Thursday. Someone rolled me onto the curb. I go, oh.
Raccoon slept in me last night.
Sorry, you guys are in traffic right now. What do you think, the dumpster? He was like, oh man, I hate this station. All they play is Limp Bizkit.
Maybe you already hated your job. That would be
That's a good
helpful.
reason.
I mean,
Honestly,
but-
hey, you're going to get some new creative endeavors now, maybe. You're kind of forced to be creative and
give
do
you
something
more
passionate.
time to. Well, I'll say so. The last time my mom got laid off, they were like relocating her position to Denver, and she didn't want to move. She was very nervous about finding a job because she doesn't have a degree, and that's something that people have now. Like everyone has a degree, kind of thing. So she was really worried about it, and then she did one interview, got the job, and it was way more money than she was making before. There's still potential.
This works out sometimes.
There's in the unknown. There's still potential to be way better than you think it's going to be. So that could be, you know what I mean? Like maybe you get laid off from a job you really liked, but then it opens up the opportunity to find something that's even better.
That makes more money.
I actually just got laid off about a month and a half ago.
I remember your post, which is why I picked this topic.
Yeah,
But-
what a fantastic timing. Yeah, and yeah,
and you really liked that job, though.
I did. I mean, and there were a lot of components to radio that I really enjoyed. The people that work at the station, I worked at Cairo Radio for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, over 2 years. But the people who work there, the majority of which did not set out to be in radio to begin with.
Okay.
So it's kind of this island of misfit toys kind of feeling where it's like, what'd you start out in? It's like insurance. Okay, what are you? How's a teacher? It didn't work. Everybody kind of finds their way in because they all have some sort of thing in common. But there is a little bit of a ne'er-do-well sort of attitude about it as well. I've heard somebody say that radio is filled with C students.
Okay.
It's just a lot of people that are willing to do whatever you need to
That's
get by,
funny.
but nothing to really kind of blow people away. And honestly, I didn't understand that at first, but after a while, when you go and you work at a kind of a performance-based job every day, when I first started out, I had the feeling like, oh boy, how much time do I get to be on air for? And then after a while, you're like, how much time do I have to be on air for?
Okay. Yeah.
What is the literal least amount that I can do?
Yeah. Let's play another ad. Here we go. Yeah.
Were you on air? Is that what you did on it?
Yeah, so I was. I started out on the Dory Monson show, and I was a talk show contributor because they didn't really know what to do with me, but they just wanted somebody to kind of pipe in with some humor here and there. And then I got moved and became the producer for Cairo Nights.
Okay.
That still goes from 7 to 10 Monday through Friday. And yeah, and then they just changed up the format and they got rid of the producer, which was me. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah, it was lame, but also at the same time, I mean, I definitely had some frustrations and just, if everything went perfectly swimmingly well from Cairo from like a radio and business standpoint, still at the end of the day, you have to look at the news for several hours. And it really started to have a pretty negative effect on my overall disposition. I'm typically a pretty happy-go-lucky kind of dude, and there would just be days I would get home and I'd just be like,
you're like, everything is falling apart.
yeah, I'm spent.
Yeah, well, if that's all you're reading, I mean, I do. It almost sounds irresponsible, but I kind of stay away from the news for that reason, just because I'm like, everything is negative. That's actually why we started this podcast. But
and also because the show that I would do would go from 7 to 10 at night, so I'm kind of keeping an eye towards the news from the moment I wake up in the morning until the show is done, and then I would get home at 10:15, 10:30 or so, and I would feel like that was the first time of my day that I really kind of could relax a little bit and go to sleep for 2 hours, and then usually my wife and I would wake up at like 6:30 and kind of start all over again. So it was pretty frustrating. And then I couldn't do stand-up. It was just it was incredibly draining from an emotional standpoint, and I didn't really fully grasp it at the time. But now that I can,
maybe it was the best. Sometimes when there's going to be a layoff or whatever, you were kind of already thinking like, okay, maybe this isn't what I want to do forever or
Oh, yeah.
whatever, or I'm not, I'd like to have some changes. And then it happens. You're like, you know what? That actually kind of fixes the things that I was.
Also, I got some good news for you, Drew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I am starting a radio show where I'm a character.
Oh.
The character's name's The Dumpster. And I'm looking for a straight man kind of host to play off of.
Dude.
Are you a fan of Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit?
Oh, absolutely. What else? Is there any other kind of music?
No, I don't think
Are there
so.
people making music?
I think that new metal was the greatest generation of music of all time.
Absolutely. You know what's the problem with music videos these days? Not enough angles. Not shot low enough or high enough.
No, yeah. And also, there's not enough talk about the ba with the ba or the bang to bang diggy diggy anymore, which I
No.
think is a bummer.
And I love
That's the only
everything
Kid
to have
Rock
the
song.
color palette and saturation relative to the movie Con Air.
Same haircuts, too.
You know
Yes,
what?
absolutely.
I think we're on the same level, and I think it should be a podcast.
Yes, it's called Late 90s were not that bad.
Yeah.
Except when they were.
Make America late 90s again.
Jesus.
With the dumpster.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
But getting laid off can be good. And it can be a reason to get back. I was honestly, if they had not told me that I was no longer going to be working there, I would have turned in my 2 weeks notice in a week.
Really? Okay, so well,
Really?
then that works out because I know that a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to quit, but I can't get unemployment or those types of things. If I quit, then they're, looking for reasons to like get fired or something. I'm like, well,
Right.
that's probably not great either, But then if somebody's like, oh, we have to downsize, then it's not really anybody's fault. You can't
Yes.
really be mad
Yeah.
at the people who did it. They're not mad at you.
I got
it's
to
a
leave.
good-
I got to leave guilt free.
Yeah.
I didn't get to have to feel like I was abandoning people or the show or kind of upsetting the apple cart at all.
Right.
I was supposed to have a one-on-one with my executive producer, and they got a notice on my phone that said that our one-on-one was canceled. I was like, that's interesting. And I was supposed to go in and ask him for the day off the following week because I was going to be traveling to do comedy. And instead, I was like, oh. And so I'm messaging my wife, and we had a long conversation that morning about me being like, I don't want to work here anymore. But like, I know that we don't have really an exit plan, but how much longer do I have to keep doing this?
Right.
So then I said to her, I was like, apparently our meeting is canceled. So I guess I have to push that off a little bit later. And then I got another message from him being like, hey, are we having our meeting now? I was like, So I went by there and I saw he was in there along with our HR person. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this meeting was canceled. And he was like, oh, no, next week is canceled. And I had that feeling. I was like, I think I'm getting fired today.
You're right. You're like, I think
Awesome.
This is it.
They didn't say you were fired, though. They were just like they were letting you go thing, right? Isn't that what laid off means? That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like, it's not your fault. It's just like we're cutting the
have to
company
do this,
down or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like when I keep saying I got fired, but I kind of enjoy it.
I think people just associate that word with like you did something wrong,
Yeah.
And then which is, I mean, whatever. If you get fired, I haven't been fired, but it doesn't really. I had to fire people, which is not fun.
That sounds
also.
horrible.
But
I've seen it from like two different angles at the jobs I've worked at, where one person was like, "We're letting you go, and if you don't let us let you go, you're fired."
Oh, you
And
can
then-
either leave on your own accord,
Yeah.
Right, or we
And then
have
I've
to
also seen the
security.
pack your
Take your-
things, you're leaving.
Oh.
Because
Pack your shit
there was a person,
and get the fuck out.
Yeah, there is like a thing in like when a job I had in LA where this person was like, they're like, nah, you're gone. And I was like, ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really, I wasn't there. I was on vacation when it happened, but I was just kind of like, thank God I was on vacation because I would feel so awkward all day. Like, yeah.
Well, because then when this meeting finished, I was like, so when is my last day? They're like, oh, it's today. I was like, oh,
Wow.
okay, so I don't get to, and that's a big thing with radio. You never get to say goodbye. You just, if there's somebody who's on the air that you listen to for a long time and then the next day that they're gone, that's all you ever
I
hear.
do feel like, because a lot of stations since I was like a kid around here have changed so much to now. You
Yeah.
know, like when Cube was gone, I was like, what happened? Like I think I had come back from being either on the road or in LA or something, and then I was like, what? This station's not a station anymore? Like what is happening?
Right?
Yeah, they just so yeah, you just okay, bye.
You're just going, okay, bye.
It's kind of
Yeah.
bizarre, and plus, like the show that used to be on from 3 to 7 was the Ron and Don show, and that was on for like 20 some odd years, and then they just didn't renew their contract.
That's so weird. There's no goodbye.
No, and so then as a result, it's incredibly frustrating from I'm sure as a listener perspective, just because you don't find out any information. So you would have people just texting us being like, where the hell are Ron and Don? What happened to this? And
Yeah, I'm sure.
all you can really say is like, please direct any questions towards our programming director. And yeah, it's pretty cold.
Especially those ones where you listen like every day you listen to the same station on the way to work or on the way home or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's completely different.
You form bonds with people. You definitely do.
Yeah.
I remember actually in high school because I listened to a lot of 107.7 The End in high school. Like that was my station. And I even I wanted to do radio when I was in high school, and so I did a job shadow there.
Could you not tell by his good news voice?
Yeah. Yeah. I just really wanted to do it. We actually did a radio show together, Monica and I, in Richland for
I
comedy.
told him I would give him $100 if he did that radio voice the whole time.
And I only did it for like the first part, and I felt like, dude, this is my dream. Just let me have this. And the guy's like, well, only really awful DJs do that voice.
Yeah,
And
he
I
was like,
oh.
what is happening? Because we had a full conversation before we started
I was
going
totally
on the air,
normal.
and then he started doing it, and I was like, this is making me so happy.
And-
Yeah,
But there was a DJ on the end that I did the job shadow with called Harms was his name. And
Sounds
it turns
familiar.
out he ended up going to LA and actually did bigger and better things. Like he was a bigger DJ and I had like a rock show down. He did better stuff, but he left Seattle while I was in college. And so when I came back, I was like, where's the dude I did my job shadow with that was like super nice to me? Like an awkward ninth grader who was like wearing an Audio Slave t-shirt that was way too tight for him. And just like, I love radio.
I don't know why the best aspect of that story was the Audio Slave t-shirt. But
It was
really
so
worked.
tight and it was so unnecessary.
I was thinking about that, and that people are always like, you should have got a bigger shirt. It's like, I don't think it's the shirt's fault.
No, it was my fault. It was entirely my
I
fault.
think it was a certain size
It
when
was
you
a
got
certain,
it, and then
it was a certain shirt that I loved that I might have grown out of a couple years before, a couple burgers ago.
Just a slave to the slave.
Yeah.
Just a couple Red Robin trips away from this shirt not fitting anymore.
The dirty bird.
The dirty bird,
I
the
love
dirtiest of birds.
The dirty bird.
okay,
Do you want to do the top 5?
sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a little game. This is still connected to the positive spin. I've picked the top 5 worst of something, and then you guys are kind of on a team. You're going to tell us each one why it's actually a good thing. So
Ooh,
I'll give you
great
the
team name.
I'll
Team
give you
Dad.
the
Team
kind
Dad.
of
Team what?
Team Dad.
Team Dad.
Team
Oh,
Dad,
yeah.
no kid. Team Dad,
Nice. I love it.
team Little Dick Husband Stitch.
no kid. Little Dick Husband Stitch.
Okay, these are the worst, not the worst reasons, but common worst reasons to lose a job. So this is you're kind of getting fired, really. You did something. So you're going to tell us why it was a good thing that you did that.
Why I did this thing
That
to
got
get
you fired,
Why
yes.
it was good. I still did it anyway.
Okay.
All right.
Number 1, stealing. You're stealing from the company. Have you ever
Well,
stolen
am I
anything?
stealing money?
It just says stealing, so it could be maybe you...
Well, maybe it's a job
up
that's really evil. Like, say I
pens.
work for an evil corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Something with the word megacorp in the name of it, so they're evil. So
Probably
now-
run by Megatron.
Yeah, probably, for sure. So now I'm stealing staplers and money from him, and that's a good thing to do.
It's true.
Because I also have an Etsy store where I dress staplers up with googly eyes, and I sell them online.
That's cute.
Nice,
Thank
paying
you.
it forward. I like
My
it.
art.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you start to notice that there are. I find that your reticence to stealing is directly impacted by how much you're being paid and whether or not you feel like you're being
Yeah.
paid the proper amount.
I would argue it's not stealing. If you're taking a pen or pencil, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but even, I was going to say even money, but like, you're right. If you're not getting, like, teachers should steal as much shit as they can.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that
Well,
was,
Teachers should
Horrible.
never pay for another Post-it note.
The
Well, they
horrible
knew-
problem is they have to buy all that stuff themselves, so they have no opportunity to steal it.
pretty close. But
Steal
yeah,
for
all that
themselves.
supply stuff. Well, I used to steal stuff from their supply closets all the time. When I worked for the Boys and Girls Club, I would go over to the school and take all their whiteboard pens and shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way to stick it to that Boys and Girls Club.
Well, we are nonprofit, and it's very obvious. But yeah, that's such a good point because, like, I worked for that same deli that actually laid me off, I guess. And the guy who was actually like the deli manager would come in on the weekends and make himself sandwiches and stuff because he couldn't afford to like buy food. Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
man.
that's how little we were getting paid. So yeah, he would come in and just like make sandwiches. And so they were pretty chill about that. At least they're like, we'll just eat. Because especially with fresh foods, like it goes bad where you got to get rid of
it's-
stuff so often that you're
It's
like,
like throw
just
it in
eat
the
it.
trash
Like,
or throw it in my mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just
I
eat it.
feel like
Well,
you
we used to
should
do that
just
because it
eat
was in
it.
Belltown. So if there was stuff that was like just going like just past the time in the cold case, we just give it to the homeless guys.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Can we also mention that throw it in the trash or throw it in my mouth is also a really gross phrase?
I'm just
I want to start.
putting lots
I
of
want to
things
start
in
an all-you-can-eat
things today.
restaurant and just call it "Throw It in My Mouth,"
Throw it in my mouth. All you can eat.
where it's gonna be like like kind of the sushi conveyor belt thing, except you're on the conveyor belt, and
And
as you
then
go
just
along,
food
various
is placed
people will
in
just
front of
drop
you?
things in your mouth.
Oh,
Like-
you are on the conveyor
Oh.
belt.
On the conveyor
I
belt, you are
see.
moving, and then the food is along the way
The
being
food
placed
is
into your
coming
mouth.
straight to you.
I
Oh,
like
that's a
that.
cool. That's a cool restaurant idea.
Thank you.
All
And you
right.
can probably eat really quick too, because they're just throwing it in your mouth, so you're full real quick. You got a good turnaround rate. Get on that conveyor belt, Stacy. Here comes some mac and cheese.
Open up, Stace.
You guys can get in the car.
yeah.
I'm going for round 2.
Round 2 of throwing
Stealing.
In the loop.
You're sticking it to the man. Then is
Yeah,
that what you're
stick
saying?
it to
kinda?
the
All
man.
right, all right. Number 2, you took too much time off.
Well, that's a good thing because you know what? Sometimes you got weddings, family vacations, things you
At
gotta
least
do.
you were having fun.
So at least
Like,
you're
why-
having fun, and family's more important than your stupid job, no matter what it is.
I would say that also,
Even if your job is family planner, more important.
That's a good point. I would say also that a rested worker is a happy worker.
That's true.
And that I think that we have a tendency not to take enough time off.
Okay.
With all the various advents that we have in technology and allowing us to work better, faster, what are we doing with the extra time? We should be taking that time off.
I think it's a
I
very
think that's a
common
great
agreed
point.
upon statistic that in the U.S. people work way more than any other country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
stupid.
totally overlooked.
It's like by a lot. It's like 30 hours more. It's like a
Yeah.
significant amount per week.
Especially if you were to start to kind of scale up work kind of along
I don't know.
with technological advances, so that like the amount of work that you can accomplish in a 40-hour work week is probably equivalent to like what would take 120 hours 30 years ago.
Right. That's a great point. So, I like that point about being. I know for me that when it would get towards the end of like the school year or whatever it was, I was like, I'm fucking done with this. Like, I don't want to be here at all. I need a break. So once you do get a break, then you're like, oh yeah, I actually.
Yeah.
They say that about teachers. I wasn't a teacher, but they say that about teachers when they. Like they're super excited at the beginning of the year because they've had this time off and they're all motivated. And then by the end of the year, you're like, I
Just
need to
complete
get out of here.
burnout.
And it renews kind of at the end of the summer.
You ready for these statistics here?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
According to the ILO, I don't know what that is. Americans
I was going to ask you what it was, but
Americans
never mind.
work 137 more hours per year than Japanese workers, 260 more hours per year than British workers, and 499 more hours per year than French workers.
I've heard that about France. That they're
Yeah,
just,
which is, and also we're the only country really in the. I think it's like in the modern world, as in other
First world
countries, like
country?
that does not have a maximum amount of hours. You are cut off from working. Like you are legally no longer allowed to work more hours.
Right.
It's just you get paid more. It's not stop.
right. You
Yeah.
have to stop.
I've heard it's in Japan. There is still kind of that pressure towards working a lot, but to the point where actually napping at work is sort of encouraged and actually seen as sort of a sign that you're working hard.
That's so interesting.
So people will pretend to be asleep though, just to make it seem like they're working hard.
Well, but you get in trouble here if you fall asleep. You
That's
know,
true.
like that would be. But why didn't you be like, well, I'm working hard? But they're probably like, would you stay out too late last night? I'm like, well, yes, but I also had to come here.
Yeah, there's also a thing saying that we're the only country in like first world country that doesn't offer a national paid parental leave benefit. The average in the world is over 12 weeks of paid leave anywhere other than Europe, and over 20 weeks in Europe.
Doesn't it? Does it depend on the company or the state or what?
Here, it just depends on the company.
Okay.
The
So it's
companies,
up to
and
the
a lot of
company?
companies don't do it because they're like,
I
well,
know
no one
that,
else is
but yeah,
doing
I
it.
didn't
So
know.
Plus, have you ever run into anybody from Europe, particularly like England or Australia, that are just on holiday?
Oh yeah, I
Like,
have
I just-
3 best friends from Australia because I just met them while they were traveling here.
Yeah.
And they would save up money, one because they get paid more for like waitress jobs or whatever. It's like $22 an hour instead of minimum wage or whatever, and then they'd save it up and then go on a trip for months.
And not only is it that feeling of going out for these extended durations, but then returning and everybody being like, oh, That's fine. Welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just go back
So,
to the
like,
same job and like it's
We have evicted you. We
Yeah.
have burned down where you used
right.
to work.
You can never come in this
I
building.
remember
again. It's
when I
not-
first started comedy, it was 2010, and I had gotten that job at the law firm that I had for like 5 years in Seattle, and I got in a comedy contest, and it just kept going. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things in Oregon where I was doing it for like, I was gone steadily for like 5 weeks. Like I was back a couple days, and then I was gone, but I was also a part-time employee, and I was freaking out like, I'm going to get fired when I come back from work. And they were just like, oh, how was your trip? They were like so nice about it. And it's just like, yeah, I think people put it up in their head that it's like a big deal to miss work. No one gives a shit. Like if you're in a job where maybe you're screwing another employee over, like if you have to, like you're supposed to cover for them and you can't, that's kind of messed up.
Or somebody else has to pick up the slack because you're gone.
Right.
But if you're in an office and it's just like you're just a Joe Schmo at a computer, who cares?
That's a problem with like kids and stuff is you have to have a certain amount of adults per kids. So if we weren't there, then it would really screw everybody else
Also,
up. Like
by
that
the
was
way,
such an
the
issue.
ILO is the International Labor Organization.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense.
So it's so
People need to take time off. So
people. It
that's
actually
fine.
said in the last fact in this little thing here is that we are way more productive now as a society versus when we were in the 1950s. Like American workers are more productive, and it said it's because we work less. It's like the main difference between the 1950s and now is the typical day in the 1950s was an 11-hour workday, and now we're down to like 8 is the regular workday, but we're more productive. I think
Interesting.
a lot of countries are like 6. It's like you come in,
I think it should be.
and it's
open.
broken up. It's
Yeah.
like 3 a.m, 2-hour lunch, 3 when you come back, go home.
I'm into that.
I think sometimes I can't help but just sort of marvel at what level of proficiency people probably had hundreds of years ago at something when it's like, this is your entire life.
Yeah.
When it's like, my entire life is just to make cellos.
Right.
And that's all that I do. And there's nothing else to ever distract me from that. And I kind of wonder what would happen if I had that level of focus where I'm like, if you just completely removed
Because there's
all
there's
other
nothing
distractions
to
from me.
distract me.
Have
What
you
could I
guys-
possibly get done?
Have you guys watched that Jiro Dreams of Sushi
Yeah.
documentary? And he'd been making sushi the same way for like 80 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy.
And his entire attitude is like, I can still improve.
Yeah.
Like just never being satisfied.
I need to
with
lock
something.
myself in a room.
Yeah, with a lot of sushi.
Yes.
So,
On a conveyor belt.
number 3.
Number 3. Yeah. We're violating company policy.
Like what?
I don't know.
Maybe my company policy was to not sing really loudly in the bathroom while I pee, and now I get to do that. And I think it's good.
Trying to think of what like company policy would be.
I feel like a dating thing.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Okay, yeah.
it's not company policy for me to date my coworker. Well, Janice and I love each other.
Or you have to like tell them or something. You know what I mean? It would be
Yeah.
like following a rule
Yeah.
that they had made separately that you didn't follow.
Yeah, I feel like some of those conduct policies are kind of made with the idea of best intentions, but then can also circumvent or short circuit people actually giving genuine compliments to people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without being kind of like, hey, you look fantastic today, and wondering whether or not something is going to be misconstrued.
Yeah.
Especially because it's in that kind of ultra rigid workplace.
Yeah.
I love giving compliments.
Like if I walked into an office and Drew and I worked there and I was like, hey, Drew, you look real dad hot today. It's not a weird thing.
No,
It's like you
not
just
at
look
all.
good.
Thanks for recognizing my dad hotness.
You're welcome.
You're like, yeah, I wore this outfit on purpose.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I feel dad sexy.
Yeah.
different than normal. Sexy,
Totally
isn't it? Okay. Number 4, which I guess this would probably be a policy, but they said it's pretty common to be either drunk or high, like at work, and you got caught.
There are some jobs where I feel like being high is very beneficial. Like a data
Agreed.
entry job.
Yeah.
That seems like I actually was there.
Speaking
I
of
was
making
considering
cellos.
smoking more weed. I considered smoking weed when I worked at the law firm. I mean, not the law firm job, at the job in LA. I was like, this would be the perfect job for a stoned person.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's really chill. You can listen to music as much as you want. You can just type, and just not think about anything for the day. It would have been perfect.
I knew a lot of my employees, not at the Boys and Girls Club, but at Sky High, were stoned, and
Yeah.
I just never really said anything, mostly because I was too. But
And then some jobs.
they were. I feel like because I had like younger, 16, 17-year-old kids, some of their first jobs, kind of thing. They were less distracted when they were stoned, and I was
Yeah.
like, sure, whatever, man.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Also, Wall Street runs on cocaine, so you know that works fine.
Most people in the service industry are on coke like a lot.
You know what
Cocaine.
I feel like you don't really hear a whole bunch of people being like, you know what? I feel like I'm just a much more productive worker when I'm drunk.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
I don't know about drunk.
Yeah.
I feel like drunk's hard, but
that is like a thing now is to have, you know how they're like, oh, the millennial companies, like the tech companies would be like, oh yeah, we have beer in the office. Like, we have a keg. That's fine.
I'm actually gonna be really curious to see how microdosing gets picked up.
Yeah. Everybody's just on shrooms.
I think I do have a good job to do if you're drunk for professional Jello wrestler.
That's not bad.
Probably
I was
want to be
gonna
drunk.
say comedian. But,
Also comedian.
yeah. How often I'm like, I get to drink at work.
Professional
It's not good,
Jello wrestling comedian.
but, ooh, you better corner that market.
So far, it's just one.
Yeah. Okay.
It could be a lonely wrestling match.
Here comes the dumpster wrestling himself.
Maybe not the reason comedians drink, but a lot of people aren't good at speaking in front of people. So if you were drunk at work
Oh, I can see that.
and like you had to give a presentation,
Totally.
like maybe that would be
Maybe a
understandable.
little Irish coffee before you head
Yeah.
into
As
the
you
board
can
meeting.
see, our numbers are way up. You're just like, Al, yeah, what do you? I like your shirt.
And Frank is still a dick.
We got cake coming because Janice's birthday, right?
Yes. It's always a Janice. In all of your
Janice I
stories.
love.
It's always a Janice in a workplace.
All right, finally, number 5. This is misconduct. So, could be maybe a sexual harassment thing. Maybe you put your dick in the copy or whatever.
And balls.
What do we call it last episode?
Oh.
This is just a dick mammogram? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
dick-
'Cause you're smashing it in there. Anyways.
You're swishing your,
Yeah, so you did something like that. Peed in someone's coffee. I don't know what you're up
Well,
to.
you know what? Maybe if you pee in someone's coffee and they're a real dick, you're a hero. So you got fired because you're the king of the office for finally standing up to your boss.
God.
Yeah, it could be that something that
God.
could be viewed as insubordination might actually just be maybe you are the people's champion. Maybe
Yeah.
you are the one who
That is
is
true.
going to say,
The
"I'm-"
people up top are always going to hate the revolt. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
This is your chance to be Spartacus.
Yeah. I peed in his coffee and I might dip my dick in there a little bit too. Who cares? Take that, Todd.
All right.
And then you're like, and I'm 30 now, so it probably dripped a little bit extra in there.
Yeah. Also,
I don't
burned
work
my
here.
dick and I need to go to a hospital.
Been down in the trenches
Yeah,
too long.
shout out to all those employees sacrificing their dicks.
That's right. A lot of dick-based stuff going on in this
Yeah.
office.
A lot of dicks in the trenches.
I hope if I ever try to get another job, they don't listen to this podcast in particular.
Well, that's like not yeah. Women can't really do that, you know. It's like, oh, Todd's drinking out of that cup. I snail trailed it earlier. Like it's
Oh man, Connie dipped her labia into my hot chocolate.
Oh my god! I thought that was lipstick.
I mean, kind of. We're at an hour now. So.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the quiz real quick?
You think we can do it real quick?
I think we can do it real fast.
Okay, we'll do it real fast.
So the quiz this
Solid work,
week
everybody.
is pick the cartoons you watched as a kid and will reveal which TV quote you should live by.
Oh,
So
marvelous.
the first one is first set of cartoons you pick is The Proud Family, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Johnny Bravo, Pinky and the Brain, Courage the Cowardly Dog, or Beavis and Butthead.
I think I got to go with Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead. What are you going with?
Pinky in the Brain. I loved Pinky.
I love Pinky and the Brain, but I will go with Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Okay.
Pick a cartoon. Another one. Recess. Codename Kids Next Door. What's New Scooby-Doo. Danny Phantom. Teen Titans. Or The Powerpuff Girls.
Do we have any cartoons that aren't 7 years old? Or maybe
I don't
something
think so.
that's
I think they're
for
all- I
somebody
don't know.
who's in their
I think they're
mid-30s.
all for us.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Scooby-Doo.
Oh, that's a good one. That's what I would love to go with too. But I think I also watched a lot of Recess.
Recess is a good one.
I'm a big
gonna
Recess.
go. I saw a couple of these I don't even know, but Powerpuff Girls. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
They were superheroes. They were
Next
little
six.
girls.
They're great. Avatar, The Last Airbender, Rugrats, Dexter's Laboratory, Rocket Power, Hey Arnold, or The Wild Thornberries.
Oh, I got to go with Rugrats on that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Monica, you go this time.
I'm gonna go Hey Arnold.
Okay.
I always really commiserated with
Football
Arnold for
head.
some reason. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Dexter's Laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
Next one. This is kind of getting newer.
Okay.
Samurai Jack, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Kim Possible, Dave the Barbarian, Dragon Ball Z, or The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack?
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Is that about
I
a
was actually
pancake?
hoping for older cartoons. I think half of these were just floats in the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Yeah.
I think one that is there. I think of creatures. Something about a home for.
Oh, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That's
the
a
one.
great cartoon.
I hear it's actually really good.
It's a
I've never
really good
even
cartoon.
Seen it. I used to watch Kim Possible though. Again,
Yeah.
these female-led cartoon
I'm gonna.
heroes.
That's a good one.
She totally struck a
I've
chord for slacks.
I've never watched it, but I heard it's really good, and I'm gonna pick Samurai Jack.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next cartoons: Yu-Gi-Oh!, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Ben 10, Cat Dog, Total Drama Island, or Roly Poly Oly.
I love Cat Dog.
The dog is cat dog.
Let's go with Ben 10.
Ben 10. Roly Poly Oly. He's smart and fat and round, and in the land of curves and curls, he's the smelliest kid around. That's what the rhyme was.
Does it smell you?
Smelliest kid? Maybe I'm wrong.
But that's pretty good though.
That's
that you
what I
remembered
remember
that.
it
When
being.
you said it, I was starting to remember it, but
Pick a cartoon.
just don't know what smelliest
That's
is.
what everyone. I keep saying pick a cartoon. That's what all of them are. I don't know why I say that. American
cartoon.
Dragon,
Okay.
Jake Long, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Chalk Zone, Dragon Tales, Angry Beavers, or
Did you
Maggie
ever watch
and the
Angry
Ferocious
Beavers?
Beast. No.
Angry Beavers is a good show.
Is it
Yeah,
a
let's
good
go
show?
Angry Beavers in that one.
Yeah, I'm going Angry. Oh shit! Sorry.
You're going Angry
Angry
Beavers?
Excited for my answer.
All right, I'm gonna go with Dragon Tales because it's got dragons in it. Okay, my quote I got is from Friends.
Okay.
It's a Joey Tribbiani quote. It's "You can't just give up. Is that what a dinosaur would do?"
You want me to go next?
Yeah.
Okay, I got. It's from RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's RuPaul, and it said, "If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?"
Good advice.
It is good.
All right, your quote's from The Office,
Brilliant.
and it's Michael Scott, and it's "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Wayne Gretzky. Michael Scott.
I absolutely
That's
adore
a
The Office.
good win on that
show,
one.
that show is going to be so transcendent. It is going to have a far greater reach than
The
I think we
Office?
fully realize. Yeah,
I think it already is getting.
I think it
the
is
way
going to
it's-
be like a cult thing, where people like kids now will eventually.
Yeah.
It'll be like a cool thing that they went back
There
and
are-
watched.
Exactly. There
The
are
Office.
there are entire generations of people younger than us who are loving The Office only because they discovered it through Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think about Wet Hot American Summer, like that. I mean, that movie, because we watched it when I was working at a camp, and it was so pretty spot on, honestly. And so we loved it. But it's like my generation loves that, but it wasn't made for us at the time. Like it was 2001 that we were 11,
it
But
was-
now that's like what? So that's why they keep like bringing these things back. Is like it's made for
I was in
us,
a,
and when we're adults, we can make it popular.
It's for us, by us.
I was in a class today, substitute teaching, and a kid was watching The Office on his phone and laughing very loudly at it.
Well,
Do you remember what
and you
episode?
fault him for it.
I don't know what episode it was, but I was really surprised. I was like,
Should just
oh.
quoted it.
I'm like, all right, you're like really young, and you're under.
Well, that's, okay, so did you see? No, we're gonna get off track here, but Billie Eilish, who's like
Oh yeah.
younger singer lady, right? She, Rainn Wilson, is that his name?
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson went to her house and was like, "I heard you're like the biggest Office fan ever," and like quizzed her on this shit, and she knew so much stuff, but she's like fucking 17 or
Yeah.
something, right? And she like knew all of these
But-
quotes, like the like people's jobs and stuff, like these obscure questions. She knew all of them.
Think about it though. What's the show she probably watched with her family when she was a kid? That times out perfectly.
That would make
Yeah.
sense.
That's
yeah.
what I remember the most. I watched that 70s show with my dad
I see.
Interesting.
constantly.
Yeah, I
And
watched.
now
we
I
watched the
know.
Drew Carey show.
Yeah. Drew Carey show's a great
I was
show.
allowed to stay up later on Wednesdays for that reason.
Oh, Mimi.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, that makes sense though. I like it. I think The Office is just so. It was apparently the whole time we were in LA, the Office is in North Hollywood. It's
Yes.
close.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. And I was like talking because Kane Holloway is a big fan of The Office. And I was just like, that's like where they filmed it too. He's like, yeah, the whole thing, it's right there. And I was like, that's so crazy that it's just in LA. Do you think it's in, like, I really thought it was like an
Oh, you
East
thought it was in
Coast-
Scranton?
I thought it was in Scranton because I'm a dummy. I'm a very
Very
gullible dummy.
magic.
So, all right, let's do the charity because we're really over time.
Yeah. Well, do you want to? Drew and I actually picked the same one, so we're
well,
gonna
you
give a little.
Coincidentally.
better because I'm aware of it, but you would know more about how it actually
Cool.
works.
So, yeah, we picked the Yellow Hammer Fund, which I'm sure you've seen floating around on the social media. It is an abortion fund, which is specifically in Alabama. So, obviously, we know what's going on with the legislation in Alabama. So, what they do is they help people that are seeking an abortion with travel, lodging. They have someone walk with you when you're going into a clinic for safety reasons and stuff like that. And this isn't the only one that exists. The Yellow Hammer is part of the bigger network, which is the National Network of Abortion Funds. So in other states, you can have kind of some of these same services. So, I mean, this is huge in Alabama right now, but getting an abortion anywhere, we're in Washington State, one of the, well legislated things as far as women's health goes. Mm-hmm. It's still not easy. You got to find it, and there's still going to be people who disagree with you. And so these abortion funds kind of, one, help you find the right places to do it safely. And also all those other intricacies that go into it, they can help you with. And so if you want to donate, the Yellow Hammer obviously is very specific. There's only 3 abortion clinics in Alabama as it is. So this is going to help them specifically. But if you want, because this is yellowhammerfund.org, but if you want to kind of look at the broader spectrum of them, it's just abortionfunds.org. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot of info on there too, as far as statistics, and then if that's something you're seeking, kind of where to go and the right people to talk to. And yeah,
I think that it's so often forgotten that it's when you introduce legislation like this is not how you get rid of abortion, but this is how you definitely end safe abortion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people who are in these circumstances will ultimately probably seek out an answer to what they're looking for, and it's just a matter of whether or not they're doing it safely or not.
Absolutely. And it becomes a financial thing too, because rich kids are always going to be able to figure it out safer than someone who isn't in that situation, and then it becomes unsafe. It really does. So, and
I like this group, the fact that they do so many of those other things, the fact that walking with somebody, that it is so much more than just the hard financial cost, the emotional duress that the people have to go through.
I think that gets lost in all this stuff, is that like, oh yay, we can get abortions. That's not what anyone's thinking about. This is a huge decision for someone, no matter how this came about. Nobody's making this lightly. And I think that is in some people's heads, where they're just like, no one's willy-nilly getting abortions. Like, it's not, it's not fun for anyone. It's painful too. Like, no one's doing that. So no matter how or where you're getting it, it's always going to be a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Michael?
Hey, Monica.
Hey, Mike.
If you were going to drive an obscure vehicle, what would you get a license for?
A hang glider.
Oh, nice. What about you, Drew?
Submarine.
Submarine.
Good
That's
one.
a good one.
That is a good one.
Hey, Monica, if you were a dad, what would your hobby be as a dad?
Woodworking.
Hey, what about you, Drew?
Ships and bottles.
Oh, that's a real good one.
That's a really good one.
Hey, Monica.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to the listener before we go?
Oh, I love you so much.